So I'll try to put as much as I can in this video as far as the last question is concerned for paper 2. Hopefully you gain or you get a thing or two that you might need to use in your examination on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. All the best. All right, cool. So basically, for the last question, with the time that is left, it's not about getting it all correct. I know it's a 15 marker, but the 15 marks now are divided into different parts. What you need to master now is to write as much as you can so as to get as many marks as you can. So haungonyore zvinhu zvisina basa. Wachifanira kuchinyora manje wafanira kuziva kuti chii chakarida kuziva the examiners and what are the things that they are looking for, and you try by all means to write the parts are meaningful kune zviri kudiwa zvacho. Yeah, this is the part that I usually tell students kuti don't use what's this called, a sniper approach. You use a machine gun approach. But when you're using the machine gun approach, you should know the areas that you're supposed to be targeting. Sniper approach, you need to get every mark correct, every bullet counting. But in this case now, you need to make sure that you're using a machine gun, right? As many lines of code that you can, as much detail as you can, but you need to make sure that you're pointing in the right direction. That's all that matters. So number one, you need to make sure that you are able to know that these guys, they are looking for, the major thing that they are looking for are programming constructs. I think you know about these now. They'll be asking to see whether you know what programming constructs are and whether you are able to recognize them in a paragraph that will be given or in a program that need to be written. Yeah. So on programming constructs, number one, the major thing that they'll be looking for is selection. Are you able to see any part that will demand selection? So once you just see parungodiwa selection, wow, tofara. Why? Because you already now know that you're going to be using an if statement or my cases, right? If statement or case statements. But I know I'm going to make my if statements, my cases are going to I still stand to be corrected. But I know you know how to use if statements. Okay. They also need to see if you are able to use iteration, able to identify and use iteration in your code. Iteration or looping here. Chansa for loop, chansa while loop, nekushandisa repeat until, depending, right? While loop ne repeat until, depending on the question. Yeah, you know that we use for loop when we know the number of times that we need to repeat the code. We use a while loop when we do not know the number of times we need to use the code, but we need to test before we start to doing an iteration. Then repetition, we only use repetition, or most times when we use repetition is when we want to run the code at least once. I'm pretty sure that you know about that part. Then are you able to identify again a counting here, and where when count is now equal to count plus 1, that's counting. Are you able to see it? But ufana apply counting, and are you able to use it here? So recognize and use it. And tell you what, in almost everything that you're going to be seeing in these type of questions, you are always going to be finding per selection, per iteration, per counting. I can tell you this for a fact that hakuna question yachaona a number last isina these things. It's not totaling. Hakuna. You always need to be applying totaling somewhere somehow. So ukona usina utopa uona apply totaling, then ziyakuthi yeah, pani basic. But I trust that you guys, you can actually do this. Even when you talk about the other things that are basic that you're always going to be seeing is the part here, input and output. Just kutongonyora ngoti input chakati kutorine basa kokwe kunotokubatsira because kutotsvagwa. So once you just input or output, so you already know now kuti zvoni ukango apply selection wato guaranteed utotona at least 1 mark yako. Kana selection yako totone musoro utona 2 marks. Kana iteration yako totone musoro the section iyoyo chete ingoti ne-iteration even ikaenda pasiripo, as long waisa ine ma-variable names anemsoro, you are guaranteed that you're going to be getting at least a mark on that. You get the point. I can tell you for a fact that hakuna vanhu vakawanda vanokwanisa kunyora information iyi vachipedza question iyi yese. I can tell you that for a fact, but I can tell you kuti kune vanhu vanotona ma-15 marks as well. Why? Because vanyora ma-points ese ari kudiwa. You get the point. So if you write something to do with selection, you are getting a mark. Something to do with iteration, you're getting a mark. Something to do with counting, you're getting a mark. Something to do with totaling, you're getting a mark. Something to do with input output, you're getting a mark. So you need to write as much information as you can. I'll tell you as we go kuti uno atakase. Then number 2, you need also to make sure that you are paying attention to the variable names. Did they mention here that the variable names are supposed to be meaningful? Let's see. They just said they did not mention any part about that. I think but even if they don't mention that, we already know that whenever we are creating code, make sure that all the identifiers are meaningful. When we're talking about identifiers, we're talking about my variable names. We're talking about variable names. We're talking about array names. One of my array names are days, but it don't make a sense. I mean, you already know that my days. You won't expect to be seeing ages in here because we talk about variable name. Vatukupa identifier name reva zvinhu meaningful inside the array runs the days anofanira kunge ari madays, not my ages. Haunyore kuti let my array be equal to x. This is not maths. We need to know the variable name, identifier name racho rese kuti makastoyewa chii. So if there's a variable name that needs to be storing the day of the month or the day of the week, renew the day of the week. You get the point. Variable name has to be meaningful. Variable names, we're talking about my constants. If you're going to be using any constants, they're supposed to be meaningful. We're talking about my array names again. They're supposed to be all what? They're supposed to be all meaningful. Usanyore kujon let I or for I in range of, for j in range of. Make sure that everything that you're going to be writing is meaningful names. Identifiers have to be meaningful. I hope that is making sense. Meaningful. I'm not sure about double or one L. I think so the next thing that you're going to be doing now, so these are the things that we are already getting into the code. Before the top, we know the things that we are looking for, and these are the things that we are supposed to make sure that we highlight and able to pick as we are going. The third thing, see when you my comments. My comments. Whenever you're putting a comment, unongoza ma double slash, then over paragraph rako or a sentence rako rungo describe what are you about to do. Kana iri selection yeko make a short list number yoda kuisa yo iri between 1 and 2. Unongonyora kujoni unongonyora a comment yekungo tujoni a decision to check if the number is between 1 and 2. A decision to check if number is between 1 and 2. Chete comment kungo describe what you are about to do. Even zvaunofunga kuti takapusa chine basa ndichoza kuti vada kuona kuti wagona here kuziva kuti ma forward slashes anaya anoreva kuti comment, and wazviona here kuti code uruziva here code yako inofanira kucommentwa as you go. One thing that I can just urge you to do, chingocomenta pane zvaunoziva. Even kana pawakajairira pana account is equals to count plus 1. Ndopa wakajairira kapa unozoti ipate increment value ya count by 1. Unotonyora comment either unonyora pamusoro panapa kana unonyora in front. Either way kana une space unonyora in front, but I usually prefer unyora pamusoro. Unotongonyora kungoza comment yako in one line kungoti you're incrementing the value of count by 1. The point aisi yekuti wagona waisa comment kumeka sense here. Aisi yekuti zvino waisa comment yavari kuda here kuti chi. The point ndeyekuti unoziva here kuti code inofanira kucommentwa, and do you know here kuti commenting inotanga nema forward slashes. That's the key point. So panenge wangona selection, panenge wangojairira kuti apa ndipe selection apa, chingoisa iwewe comment yako pamusoro kuti testing whether the value is between this or this. Chete. I hope that is making sense. And whenever you put a comment, you are guaranteed a mark. So you see, tanima marks mangan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tani 7 marks, but we didn't do anything that is actually logical. Answer question maybe in its fullest in this logical chronological order. Tangoisa points at Trungoziva ngoti apa ndebe selection apa ndebe iteration, but before this iteration mende selection comment. I hope you're getting the idea. I will just go through this question, then you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But always make sure that these things are actually what are actually put into play. Then those are the requirements of the things that you're supposed to be paying attention to. Then the prerequisites that I always want students to get into this examination know how to use my array. Kana usingagone kushandisa ma array, you will definitely find it very difficult to answer my questions. 1D array and 2D array. I have videos that are already made for these ones. I think I will put my attachments of those videos in this. My videos and other videos my experts in creating video creation. So I'll just give you both my videos, maybe unongowaje ramatauriro angu ndopa again video and no recommend vanhu kuti vashandisa again my arrays either way. So that's going to be a 1D array. You need to know how to access values from a 1D array and to add values to a 1D array. There are two things: adding values and accessing. You want to retrieve values when you're accessing, and you want to add values when you are adding values. So 1D array and 2D arrays. You need to know how to use these. Maybe in a short, in just a quick explanation, we're talking about continue 1D array. My array like this. It holds my numbers. Let's say it holds 2, 4, 6, and 8 like this. This is on index number 1, this on index number 2, this on index number 3, this on index number 4. This is pseudocode. In Python it's otherwise. It starts with 0, but rather just know what these are index positions, right? So whenever you want to access what is sitting on position number 2, unonyora kuti my array position number inenge yakasoma square brackets position number 2, and this is meaning that to put 4. You know what's up, right? Then kana iri 2D array, a 2D array inenge array inside array. Just think of a table like this. Let's say 1 munakagara pa position number 1 akabhadhara fees here, say 1,200 whatever. Munakagara pa position number 2 akatongoti akabhadhara fees yake, let's say kuti 1.3 like this. This is an example of a 2D array. Okay, let's just add another column here to it's alright. And Maria akabhadhara balance yake tomboti ndo student ID, ndo the amount paid, ndo the amount in balance. So let's just say your fees is 2,000, so the balance will be 800, the balance here will be 700. So we are saying got save to 3, no 84. I think so. That's it's a distinction here. Which 4, which 3, that it's yakabhadhara here 1.5, which means his balance is 500. Which 4 akabhadhara may say 1.7, so balance yake inenge 300. So this table now, when we want to put it in an array, tomboti the students, got students like this. Then ndakugadzira a 2D array. So these are rows and right? So row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, row number 4. Then these are columns. Column number 1, column number 2, column number 3. Column number 1, column number 2, column number 3. So if I want to access this value here, into students, it's row number 2, but column number 3. So this means that I'm talking about this value right here. So students, it's always row then column. Always row then column. I know quite a lot say I'm not sure my matrices. I know matrices or my vectors. You always start with the row, then the column. Or whenever we're talking about the part of let's just talk about rows and columns. You know what's up? Rows and columns. Columns and rows. It's always rows and columns, right? So you start with the row, then the column. Rows do aya, my columns do aya. So you need to know my 2D arrays before you start doing the last question, and make sure that you perfect this, or you have a general idea, that is. Then the last thing that you need to know again is the pattern of functions and procedures. I'm hoping and praying that you now know how to declare these. But in summary, again, I think I have another video again for this. I'll link it again in the I'll send again the link so that you can actually visit again. My functions, can you look at the function? This is function. This is a function name. Function if it takes my parameters, let's say num1 and num2. So because your program is supposed to be written as a function, then if it takes parameters, you put them in the brackets like this. So these are called parameters, and always you need to tell us what it returns. So function, you need to tell us that it returns, because a function returns something. Let's say it returns sum, but it returns an integer. You need to tell us that. Yeah. Then canary procedure does not return anything. Got a procedure. Then you give us maybe adder 2, and we're gonna be talking about the part of num1 here and num2 probably are my parameters. So no need to be worrying about the part here. This is how you declare a procedure. Of course, you end with end procedure. If you go through the video, so knowing functions, knowing arrays are the basis. What are we looking for when you're answering number last? We are looking for programming constructs. We are looking for programming constructs. Select, iteration, counting, totaling, and input and output. Identifier names are always supposed to be meaningful. These things, you will not be worried about answering the whole question, but making sure that ndanyora selection here. Ask yourself, ndanyora anything per selection here. Ndakomenda here. Ndanyora something per iteration here. Ndanyora anything per counting here. Ndanyora anything per totaling here. Ndanyora anything per input here and per output. Ndakona some arrays zangu here. Ndakomenda here. Mavariable names zangu zanga nemsore here. Those things, if you get out of the exam knowing that you are guaranteed that you'll get at least half of the marks, which is all we need after all. Was paper one don't get kutora mari. But you know what I'm talking about. You guys, you're okay. Okay, cool. So this is what's up. This was the basis that I needed to put through for you to know. Now let's go ahead and answer this question real quick, applying everything that we have learned here. So I'll just go on this section. So I will just expand this paper first. If you want to know which paper was it was a June 2023 variant 1. June 2023 variant 1. Yeah, it's Cambridge, of course. So you can just go and check if you want to get the better picture of it. So what I'll do is I'll just maximize this so that Tumbo identify the things in a basa from here, then those are the answers from there. So I'll just go ahead and take maybe blue ink to highlight all the areas at the bus. So 1D array runs the days. So I now know that I'm going to be dealing with the 1D array. Contains what holds what the container. So there's no need of inputting this data. It's already in there. Names of days of the week. We're talking about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That was the other week days. So in my mind, I can even go ahead and actually put days one in my mind, right? Or this is a rough sketch. You can just put it as a rough sketch. You know what a rough sketch. I'm going to put rough. Days are days of the week. So days one, let's say I think I name my days of the week. Sunday. Let's just say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Because my strings, that's when so of course you might need to be writing Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, then Saturday. You might need to be writing S in full for the sake of clear, because when you're not S actually make sense. Make sure that everything is meaningful. Now when you're suppose it's a rough sketch. Then over a two-dimensional array that is called readings is used to store 24 temperature readings taken once an hour. 24 hours in a day, once an hour. That makes sense. For each day of the 7 days of the week. Beautiful. So I'm already seeing that readings. Mune rows mangani. Readings mune rows 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because tati kana chinze 2D array yanenge rine rows anditi columns mangani. Columns anenge at 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So we are saying, they might not need to tell us, index number 1. Index number 1, argumirra first day. Did they tell me that yet? Okay, even if they don't, it's supposed to be meaning that first day, which means first hour, second hour, third hour, fourth hour. So you get 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., something like that. And I've got first hour up to the 24th hour. I have my temperature readings. I hope that is making sense. So I already now know that in a table I'm going to name 11 columns, 7 rows to indicate for this. So this is for Sunday, this is for Monday, this is for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. All the data that I'm going to be seeing here corresponds to these days. I hope you're understanding. Then a 1D array runs average temperatures is used to store the average temperatures for each day of the week. So each day, which Sunday, my temperature is 24, but to the average manje Sunday was and that is a calculatable figure. Now does not calculate again. Kungo add all the elements that are in here, then I divide by 24. You get the point? Add all the elements that are in here, divided by 24. So I'm already seeing totaling because in channel add all my values as armcat. So ndatona part in a loop ne totaling. So I get a total average Sunday's average, Monday's average, Tuesday's average, after adding all the values and dividing by 24. That's a formula game. But anyways, we run. So that's average temperatures. So you just have to use my average temperatures, the variable names that they've used. So that's an idea of what's happening. Now let's go next. Then they're now saying that the position of any day's data. They're now talking about the pattern of any day's data is the same in all 3 arrays. For example, if Wednesday is on the 4th index of days, then Wednesday's temperature readings are in index number 4 again of readings, and the Wednesday's average is on the 4th position again in the average. I hope that is making sense. Wednesday is on number 4, so here Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, number 4. Dominant information is here Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but number 4, the averages are. This is what is on my corresponding, and they always give this part of information, but quantity I'm cutting as numbers boss can actually make a sense even before I actually start to read it. But I think you're getting the idea. So for Sunday, information yes it more day Sunday. All the temperatures are someone maybe by 1 degree, maybe by 2, if it's got up on 1, if it's up 13 degrees, if it's up 10, if you're making 10. All this information is anyway, DM so Sunday chat. Then average yeah, maybe no is 10. We already now know that oh come on, maybe no is 10. In 10. Sunday is on the 1st, Sunday is on the 1st, Sunday is on the 1st. Monday is on the 2nd, Monday is on the 2nd, Monday is on the 2nd. That's what they're just trying to say about this information. You can read it again, and I'm pretty sure that you might get a thing or two. Then check this part. Well, the temperature readings are in Celsius, they're in degrees, right? To 1 decimal place, check this part. But it's because I'm supposed to be using round. You get what I'm saying? Round, we are with my functions. Round, number, 1. You get the point? Round. This is what I'm already picking. That wasn't the mark. pandichishandisa function rekuti round kana ndofuna kutora kuma-users ndoti rounda off kuti 1 like this, or if I'm supposed to be doing some calculations, I'm supposed to be okay pepe pandichalculator average temperature yeweek, I'm supposed to be getting answer yangu inenda wana iri total iri average yacho, I'm supposed to be rounding off, so ndichafana kunyora kuti round average comma 1 to make sure that it's always going to be stuck in one decimal place, and I'll put a comment again so that I get 2 marks. Ndonyora kuti rounding to one decimal place to 1 dp. It's very important that if you see things like this, rounding to 2 decimal, correct 2 decimal places kana kuti 3 decimal places, chitobva watoziva kuti mark yako yokushandisa round function. Come on, what's this thing doing here? Imark yako yokushandisa round function and mark yako yekuisa comment, achitobva watoziva kuti ndatotora mari. And to make it quite interesting, one panapa vakupa temperatures are only from this to this inclusive. So this is the minimum, this is the maximum, and these values are changing. The constant rank. You get the point? Now, the first thing, could be constant. Constant. This is the minimum temperature. Mean temp. So it will make sense what the minimum temperature is minus 20.0. So don't you have to again go to constant max temp of what above a value is positive 50 degrees. So make sure that everything chakatopipa values like this chipatonogadzira constant rush like this because just to constant or meaningful variable name of asina like this, you get a mark for that. I can guarantee you that. So make sure that the things like these that are going to be having values are constant. I'm not aware yet. I'm not values are constant like this. My variable names and make sense of what automatically like this. This is how you declare constant. You create a constant. I mean to say, because constant that declare non. I mean, they do it fast, but I think we won't watch it. So make sure that you do that. All right, cool. Then this is where the money is now. Write a program that meets the following requirements. So open your eyes to see which programming construct is here of what don't think much about it to make sense. I'm not to make sense here. If you then want to put the particular chronological order, but right now we just want to get my marks. I'm not going to complicate things here. Okay, then let's skip this for a second and let's see what they need to say here. You must use pseudocode or program code. Check this part and add comments. What is in bold? And add comments to explain how your code is working. So which means comments are going to be making sense. And if I use program code or pseudocode, it's still okay. I can even use a mixture of both. Then you do not need to declare any arrays, variables, and constants, as you may assume that these are actually already created. Agreed. I know to don't attack out on same and magazira constant and stuff like that. One read apana kutonyora kuti mean temp because vataura nyaya kuti vanenge anzi all inputs and outputs must contain suitable messages. Okay. Want you to open you the max because when check max scheme not to cause my meaning my variable names are meaningful. So how can they say my variable names are meaningful yet I'm not supposed to be creating any variable names? I hope you're getting my point. But here I say about it. And I don't know a constant or a meaningful variable or a meaningful constant name like this when you're in life. I know you understand me. Okay, what else did they say? All inputs and outputs must contain and input number. Input a description of what I want to input. Then input in charge. I think you understand as I do the code. Then all data output must be rounded off to one decimal place. All data output must be rounded off to one decimal place. The output here, which means you will need to initialize and populate the days array. Initialize and populate, which means you need to give values to the days array, array at the start of the program. So the first thing that I need to do before anything else, okay, of course this is supposed to be done, but anyways, I need to go and say days, and then initialize and populate, and what my values are Sunday, Monday. This is now populating, you're giving values to it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then of course Saturday, like that. Then you're good to go now. Later first party at 2001 mark rank boss vanity, you need to do this, and I have done that. I'm already having my mark right there. So let me just do this so that this guy can come here. Okay, let's now go ahead and do the percentage codes. I'm not going to be wasting time point. Okay, cool. Input and validate the hourly temperature. Input and validate the hourly temperature for 1 week. All temperatures are supposed to be rounded to 1 decimal place. Do you get the point? But all outputs must be rounded to 1 decimal place. You get the point? So we're going to be assuming that data in correct to 1 decimal place, but at also assume that information is valid on this aspect. You get the point? So I already now know that I'm supposed to be getting information, and I actually verify it. But check this part, and hourly temperature for 1 week, which means I need to do a loop array 1 for 7 days, another loop to make sure that information is igno array readings. Is that making sense? Njara loop. Okay, alright. So and ensure that input and validate the hourly rate. I already now know that this is supposed to be inside the loop, but before I even go to a step further, okay, let me have it like this. Can I also loop my loops too? What was the other one? The input and validate. You want to tick this. But you can also input hourly temperature. So what was hourly temperature? What is our input? Of what on your prompt rago. Enter hourly temperature. Of what closer. Then of what comma, you want to store that in a variable that is called hourly temperature. Hourly temp. The reason why I love this type of writing is because watone makrako. Why am I saying watone makrako? When you're a input function, when you're a prompt of when you're again a variable, no make sense. You are supposed to know when to use input. All inputs must contain a suitable message. And again, all variable names are supposed to be meaningful. So I done all the things. I'm granted that 21 mark. I know that. Do you get the point? Then, calculate and store the average temperature of okay, but and validate. So which means that to make sure to validate. Do you get the point? So I might need to do this since it's supposed to be validated. No conceptions are repeat function. No one's out to repeat. repeat to input this until what? Until my hourly temperature is within the range, until the hourly temperature is above or equal to, greater than or equal to minimum temperature, mean temp. Or you can just write 20 can almost not declare this. Negative 20 means can almost not declare this. And also the hourly temperature, the hourly temp ratio is less than or equal to maximum temp. You see now, max angu 2 ndatoisa baba 1 mark rekushandisa repeat wangu correctly. Do you get the point? And repeat until vangu vachenda zviri correct, and I'm pretty sure that unogona kupa half mark for kushandisa end panapa. Ona manje pandokwanisa kubva ndabari kunye mark ndakusa futi comment ndonyora comment rangu panapa. Accepting and validating hourly temperature. Inzaudzo ndoda kutaura panapa. Statement iri rakadaro iri zvirapa zvandonyora apa izvi zvinotomeka sense, isn't it's a valid, is zvinhu zvinopa marks and zvinoenderana nezvataura pa number 1 panapa. And I'm just adding some other things zvinomeka sense zvinofanira kunipa mari, as I told you panapa kuti zvinopa mari ndezvipi. But pane the part manje, the chronological order of answering the question that I will do just after I explain this part. On this part yakatongodaro iyi watonema marks mangana, 1 mark, 2, 3, 4 marks. Because of one statement watone 4 marks, and 4 out of 15 it's not a bad, okay, it's a bad mark. I like it, but I'm saying but it's not nothing. Do you get the point? I'm saying but it's not nothing. You got something that you actually did. That's the point that I wanted to stress. Then I want to calculate and store the averages of the temperatures in the day. Okay, now I'm now going to be writing this in the correct form now, because ndakuudza pane nyaya 1 yekunyora code in the correct state of it, nekunyora code ikapata kecode kanomeka sense, akapata kanomeka sense kupo 4 marks. So let me just answer this now in the way that will give you all the marks, because unokwanisa kuzongoti sero sanga ngonyora because angasi kuketa panamba zandapera. All right, cool. Let me just rewrite this now, and they have correct positions, and you will see exactly how the code is going to be working. I'm just putting the part of the logical on the chronological order of the code, but otherwise the code it just makes sense. What I had written was going to be giving you marks, I mean to say. So let's go. So the first thing, I'm supposed to input and validate hourly temperatures for the week. That's okay. Calculate and store the average temperatures. So calculate and store the average temperatures for each day. So it means my hourly temperatures and my hourly temperature readings are alpha and readings. Then the average, if I'm not average temperature. Then calculate the average for the whole week. I think these are alpha and 1 quarter down your average. So I'm going to be running a loop. Okay, let me take another color, I guess. I'm going to be running a loop for 7 days to get my temperature readings for 7 days. So for day, why there's a day is because I need to run for 7 days, starting from day number 1 to day number 7, of course, right? I need to make sure that I get my temperature readings an hour, right? So I'll leave this space in case that I need to do any totalings. I will go ahead. Okay, I can just go ahead and do that. And doesn't need total average. Okay, that is my total readings. Total temp. Okay, that's the total weekly temp. That's what a weekly temp. Weekly total. Weekly total. weekly total ngaitanga iri pa0 because ndoda kuti pandotanga kutora ma-variables or ma-readings each day ndinge ndichi-incrementa total. You get the point? You understand in a second. So ndochita namanje loop rangu ndochini for okay to hold, there's a comment, to hold the total for the day. Let me just make it a daily total, right? Let me make it a daily total. Daily total is supposed to be one word, remember. It's supposed to be one word. Daily total, to hold the total. To hold the total. To hold the total temp for each day. So now I'm not going to be running now for every hour now. So for every hour, starting from 1 to 24. What I want to do now is to input the temperature. So I'll be like hourly temp now. Okay, let me use an input, right? Let me just say input. Okay, let me say, okay, I'm going to take it as an output so that it will describe what we want the person to input, right? So now in your prompt run, so now put it in output. What am I supposed to be outputting? Enter the temp for hour. There's not hour, not a comma, hour. This will produce, enter the temp for hour 1, university 2, university 3, university 4. So this is actually setting for the hours from 1 to 24, right? Not a comma again. I can put again other codes for hour 1 on this day now. That's a day, on day. I can say days, because days no money get now. No nema days. Days, position of day. So listen to what I just did here. I hope you understood this. It's nothing fancy. Then go to the output, enter the temp, enter the temperature for hour. Check out. Okay, I want it to be like this. You put the information like this. So enter temp for is for hour 1 on Monday, on Sunday. You put again temp hour 2 on Sunday again. It's maintain on Sunday until we get to hour number 24. I hope that is making sense. Then the next thing that I want to do is I want to then store that input in hourly temp. So I'll be now like input hourly temp. Hourly temp. So hourly temp on the readings. But before I do that, I'm just gonna be incrementing my daily total. You get the point? Daily total. It's okay. Daily total. I'm gonna be incrementing this guy now. It's now gonna be equal to daily total. Daily total plus what? Plus what I've just inputted, plus the hourly temp. Now I can do my what? I can do my storing now. So here I can already go ahead and store this hourly temp in the readings. So I'm opening the readings. Position of what? In the row number day, comma, in the column what? Column hour. And I want to give it the value of my hourly temp. That's basically what I just did. So I'm going to ndatora hourly temp rate the first hour on Sunday ndarestore up now. That's basically what I just did, right? But I had to make sure, oh, there's a part that I didn't do. I needed to make sure that the hourly temp that I'm taking here is supposed to be the one that is in the range. You get the point? So ndichangozviita panapa, ndichangozviita ndichingoti repeat until. That will make sense. Zvandamboita pekutanga pepai ndangoisa repeat panapa. So I'll say repeat to do all this until. You see with until number 7 until the hourly temp. The hourly temp is less than or equal to maximum max temp, and again hourly temp is just because of my space. My hourly temp again is less than or equal to, or is bigger than now, is bigger than or equal to minimum temp. So I have taken the value later, but input, validate, calculate the average, not yet calculate the average, total so far of each day of the week. Reading that was store. So what I need to do now is to make sure that the daily total, but that's what hourly total out of validate, which makes sense for me. And the next thing that I need to do is I need to say next hour, like this. Raw area. So I'm just next hour now. Okay, remember with some comments and get span up. We can say validating, accepting and validating input. Let me just say that. Accepting and validating hourly temps, hourly readings. That's how you're getting the money now, because you're making sure that you're putting more comments as you are going. So if you want to put more comments on every stage, go ahead. And more comments ukatomesa by every stage, because I know what you know, it's kind of because of the time or because of the party, which is okay. Just write the small parts I want to say why my comment so that you actually exhaust. You will get marks on that. I can never overemphasize that point. So pandozopenza kutora amaningirini ese ma daily temps ese ndinda ne daily total. So daily total yangu manje ndakuzoti manje ninichi daily average now. Daily average is now going to be equal to the daily total. Let me just make it quite sweet. Now to round off, if not round off to 2 decimal places. So I'm supposed to be rounding daily total divided by 24. Then I round off now to the nearest of 1 decimal place. I hope that makes sense. So I'm dividing the daily total by 24 to get the average. Then I divide that, I make sure that I round that to 1, right? Decimal place. That's what I just did here. So daily average now, but now no average temperature. So I'll be like now average temp is now gonna be getting, I'm gonna be putting a value. Average temp position of number 1. This is for Sunday. Position of number day, right? This is the average temp for the day it is. Can actually 1 in actually Sunday. I'm gonna be giving it a value now, not the daily average. Like that. Daily average. Like this. Then I can put a comment here again. Let me just put this. I can put a blank comment like storing, calculating the daily average, storing and calculating and storing daily average, right? Calculating and storing. Kind of like it's the rounded daily average. Like that. It's a comment that I'm putting on what I'm about to do here. Then I do the thing, and the next thing I'm gonna be going ahead and I'm going to next day here. Next day. So this is actually for this guy. So what I just did, I did this spot. I took the hourly temperatures, I calculated it and validated them. I went ahead to calculate the average of the day and I actually stored them. So I did the thing here. So I now know that this is populated, and this again is populated. Panozopera code iri izvese right here. So ndaita izvese zvirapera. Next part, I'm pretty sure that ndapedza nebasa pasina basa paise pasara. Pakunzi calculate the average temperatures for the whole week. For the whole week aichanetse manje because ndangotora ma temperatures ari muna average muno. Right? Ndingotanga nangeza comment yangu. Calculate the average for the whole week. Calculating averages for the whole week. That's all that I will just say. No, Nigeria ndodangonyora code rangu rinenge riri for a week's average. Week average is equals to 0. Okay, I turn to week total. Week total temp, because I'm supposed to be adding them first. Week total temp. Ngatanga pa 0. Ndopinda manje mu loop rangu for daily total. For daily total, starting from 1 to 7, I'm now visiting what? I'm now taking values at Muna average. Not daily average, daily average. So I was taking daily average. For daily average, I can just say for day, doesn't matter. For day, that is in from 1 to 7. I need to make sure that I take what? I'm taking now the week's total temp to be equal to weeks, the week total temp plus a value elimina average plus average temp position of day. So now add the average is ASI Armona average temp. Once I just finish that now, of course this is supposed to be saying next day. Once I get that now, done a week's total, the total for the whole week. So week's average now, week average is now gonna be equal to not round of it. Round, what am I rounding? I'm rounding the week's total now. Week total, and I'm week total temp. I'm dividing that by what? By 7. Then after dividing by 7, I need to round up to the 1 decimal place. Then a week's average now. It's as simple as that. Now I have the week's average. I just did this part. The average for the whole week. Convert all the average temperatures from Celsius to Fahrenheit by using the formula this. Then output the average temperature. Output the average temperature in this for each day. So I'm converting and outputting. So I'm gonna be running a loop converting and outputting. Once convert in output in Celsius and in Fahrenheit, then again output the average. Then output the overall average temperature in Celsius. But I'm not sure you guys I think the key parts are that, but for the sake of just interest, I'm just gonna be finishing it after all. The last part is now saying what? Convert all average temperatures. So converting and outputting temperatures. Okay. Converting and outputting daily temps. in daily temps angu in ari pachi ari muna what my averages, daily temp averages, that's okay. Averages. So I'm just going to be using now the the reading rango ronzi. I'm just going to be outputting my foreigners and fananga machi vango transition nivo output all data in rounded to one decimal place. That's okay with me. So I'm just going to be saying for average for day, because I need to visit for day. I need to visit the averages for day starting from 1 to 7. I need to make sure kuti ndikuita sei. I need to make sure kuti kungoti nini okay, ngatiti the degrees. Ngatiti sales temp is equals to dot access amount. Sales temp remuna averages. Average temp position of day to varira. So and ngademandagadzira the Fahrenheit temp. The Fahrenheit temp I'm not sure if this was rounded off. Average temp, yeah, it was rounded off. Ndauchingotora futi ndo rounda off it. Ndakariti nini round what? Ndakuchitora the Celsius temp ish. Round sales temp ndo multiply by 9 like what they just did. I divide by 5, then I plus 32. This is how I obtained the round the Fahrenheit temp, but I need to round it to one decimal place. So that's what I do. So ndani sales temp, ndani Fahrenheit temp. Output the average temp in this for each day. Then after calculating output it. That's okay. Now we output now. And then look at the two output temperatures. My output statements. Output ANSI with appropriate suitable messages. Average for close. Don't download average for Sunday. So ndakuchita average for days, comma, ndakuchita days, position of day, comma, in degrees, in Celsius, is, though ndachibodza sales temp. Depends. These are the same thing again. Output average no, actually I can make it. Let's go near one statement. Is this comma again would end in Fahrenheit like this. In Fahrenheit. In Fahrenheit is, I close this comma, don't you know my Fahrenheit far temp like this. That's how I do it. That's pretty much it. Then I say next day. Let me see. And output the overall average temperature in Celsius. Overall average temperature for the whole week. Days by week's average. It's okay. So yeah, easy manje uzokutora pana. Easy. And so The last part is now saying that output the overall average temperature in Celsius and in this for the whole week. Now when you have the same statement, output the average for the week, average temp for the week in Celsius is comma rounded off, so I'm going to that week average, then comma, and in Fahrenheit in Fahrenheit is comma ndanyora manje they round after again. Oh boy, then I know I put after again like I change. Now I'm going to round, open bracket, week average, because I didn't change that. Week average multiplied by 9, yeah, multiplied by 9 divided by 5 comma 1. I close that up, then I'm good to go. That's how you answer this question. That's how I would answer this question actually to get all the marks. I'm pretty sure that there's nothing that they're going to be leaving me with here. Take note, the second page and the third page are the ones that are enough to do the this part, I always use it from a rough sketch and any declarations that I might want to make. So what you do not need to, which means even if you just do my declarations and making sure that you have my variable names that you want to use, but I always leave this part as a rough sketch. As a rough sketch container of rough sketch like this, then you just put your barangages there, then your code starts on the next page. I hope and pray that this helps, bro. I had to put this for you guys, hoping and praying that the Holy Spirit will help you to get a thing or two, then you probably make it in your examinations. All the best, guys. I love you.